What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, we're going to be going over my June 2026 net worth. For anyone new here, I essentially have just been recording my net worth starting in April, May, and now June. We're a little bit late here. But again, we're just going to go through the numbers, going through my brokerage, my 401k, just my assets versus my liabilities. If you've seen these before, you kind of know how it goes. But really, just trying to be as transparent as possible, I'm going to be sharing screenshots of all the accounts where applicable and where I can get those, and just kind of go through this. Again, at this point, this is not some sort of financial education, personal finance tips or tricks. You're not going to, see any insane strategies here. It's just kind of where I'm at. As the channel grows or as it continues, I might explore what I'm actually doing in my brokerages and all that good stuff, all my investments in kind of my time horizon and that stuff. But really, other than that, let's just get right into it. We're going to be going over my assets here up the top in green, and then my liabilities down here in the red, and then totaling those all up. And, obviously you want to see kind of that month over month growth. Also with the majority of my, my assets being in a brokerage account, those can swing wildly depending on the conditions of the market at the time. But without further ado, let's get right into this. So first of all, out of my individual broker, if we take a look at that, it is currently at $173,000, 375. And I will pop up a screenshot of that here. I have moved actually everything into Robinhood. They were offering a 3% match, I think, moving my money over. And so I decided to take that. I had a decent amount of money in there already. And so that really actually boosted that, technically, my net worth in this. And that's why you see such the insane growth between May and June. And so there are certain terms to apply. I think it's, 3, 4, 5 years. So you actually have to keep the money in the brokerage to maintain that match. But I don't have any plans at all on getting rid of that. So I thought it was a super good deal, and I'm already in the ecosystem, and I thought it was really, really a no-brainer, and it was a super easy process. So that is why you see kind of such a crazy growth between May and June. And it's not because the market really went crazy or I had any sort of crazy investments go wildly up. It was really mainly because of that match, as well as I've had a decent month on some of my holdings. And so again, my holdings are very, very basic, broad market stuff, like VOO, SHD, DGRO. I have Microsoft, and then I have like VGT and some international funds as well. I'll probably make a video in the future about how much money I have actually left on the table, being so conservative when I first got invested. And it's probably, it's cost me a lot of unrealized gains being in some of my more conservative positions. So that's another topic, but that is my individual brokerage. Let's go into my 401k. That is at $10,000. That's mainly S&P 500 and a total international fund as well. Roth IRA. Let's get that. So the Roth IRA is mainly in broad market stuff too, as well as in gold as well. That's my one hot take. I think gold is undervalued in terms of the fact that every day that the United States prints money, assets go up. And so maybe it'll underperform, maybe it will struggle or lag behind equities, but the 60-40 portfolio, historically, bonds and equities has underperformed equities and gold in general. So that's just a fun fact there. Checking account. Let's see where we're at there. $3,900 there. Car. $19,000 approximately there. I've all kept these the same, so I could probably start depreciating this a little bit more accurately, but that's approximately after looking at like Kelly Blue Book and what I could probably get within the next, within reason, $19,000. And then other, I'll keep it at $1,000 again. Other is just like my PCs, my monitors, my like my golf club, stuff like that. These are things that I could probably sell within the next week fairly easily, and so I'll just put $1,000 in there. And so my total assets come out to be $213,000 and $639. And so you can see that pretty good growth right there. And again, a lot of that, like I was saying, was because of that Robinhood match. And so that's actually, that was a pretty big injection of money. Again, there are holds on that. A couple years, 3, 4, 5 years, I think is the terms on that. But it should not be a big deal because I don't plan on obviously stopping investing anytime soon. So let's go through my credit cards. One thing you will notice is that I did add my Robinhood credit card here. And so that is going to be a new row. And so we'll see that jump in here. It's 3% cash back. And so I'm going to be doing the majority of my spending on that card as well. And then putting that 3% cash back into my brokerage. And so Capital One's at 692. Discover is at 243. Robinhood is at 1400. And then I have some different Affirm, medical debt, auto loans. I will touch on the credit cards that I pay these off every single month. And so these are a running balance. You'll see some cards will have a higher balance some months. Probably the majority of my balance on Robinhood will continue to go up. I'm actually going to zoom in here quickly as well. So hopefully going forward, the majority of my money will probably be on my Robinhood credit card. And so Affirm, this is just some buy now, pay later stuff. Big no-no in the personal finance space, but I have it just because I think I've said this in the past, but paying a little bit more on interest to pay something over 6 months for the cash flow and peace of mind. Sometimes it helps me make decisions that I normally wouldn't make on things that I feel like are important. And so I don't put generally whim purchases here. Like I put an air conditioning on here. I put a certification class on here for a financial certification, as well as some different, like a business, my laptop and stuff like that. And so these are things that I like to consider them good purchases, but obviously I am paying that interest rate. And so obviously it's obviously not the smartest thing to do in the world, but that's why I feel like sometimes they have a place, is because it helps me pull the trigger on things that I know are important to me that I am holding back on. Even though I have the money to pay for it, I'm not doing it to improve my life. And so that's my one argument for Affirm/Klarna, is that if you are responsible enough with your money, and sometimes it helps you get over the hump of important purchases in your life, I think it's worth it, especially if you're doing it for certifications, if you're doing it to maybe get started with a business or something like that, or you need something for your business that you're like, I just need it, but I'm not going to pull the trigger, or any sort of personal growth stuff, even like health related stuff. I don't feel like it's a terrible thing if it gets you over the hump. Medical debt, I had a surgery back in November that I'm still paying that down. And then my auto loan is about $500 a month that I am paying on that. So that's at $1,500. And so my total liabilities are about $7,000. We can see that it has slowly gone down over time. And so, eventually that will also, obviously we want to keep seeing that trend lower. And then finally, my total net worth, $206,000. And so we can see that officially it jumped over that $200,000 mark here in this month. And again, this can wildly fluctuate depending on the market. If we see, 10, 20, 25% drop at any time, that's going to drastically bring down my brokerage 401k and my Roth. And so that's where the majority of my assets are. And so that can swing. And so we can see that's probably swing down over time, depending on the market. But super happy with this month. We can see the bar graph here. And just for some context on this, on my situation, is I currently have that $500 payment. However, my rent, I currently am not paying rent because I am living at home. And because of that, I'm able to stock away quite a bit of money every single month in the market, whether that's just putting in the brokerage as cash, or the auto investments I have into, obviously, like my 401k, and I do have auto investments into the individual brokerage every month as well. My job, I make about $72,000 a year with all of that. And something I find interesting is that, depending on the benefits you get, the match you get, sometimes going for the lower paying job with a better match and better medical can swing the total compensation, which I think is really important and a lot of people don't think about. And so that's just a side note. But anyways, my job is about $72,000 a year in money I get from that. And so I've been able to aggressively put that into the market and save because of that, mainly because I'm not paying rent at this moment. I will be in the near time future. I'm going to be moving to a new city. But as of now, it's allowing me to stock away this money pretty quickly and allowing me to really get a jump start on my life. So that's one thing I will also say. If you have the opportunity to stay at home for a year, if you have the opportunity to stack away, a good year's worth of money into the market, it can really set you up and give you the freedom to not be so tight going forward and take different opportunities that maybe you wouldn't have been if you're so tight on money. So that's my 2 cents there. But again, it was a great month overall. Again, the brokerage getting the match in Robinhood is really, what gave me probably $2,000 to $3,000 there, just in that. And then the liabilities went down. I am adding my Robinhood credit card, but I don't have any plans on these rising up too much over the next few months. So overall, it was a great month. Keep it short and quick right there. Try to keep this video under 10 to 11 minutes. But appreciate everyone taking the time to watch these videos. I know they're few and far between, but for anyone who does take a second to watch this, I truly, truly do appreciate it. If you have any questions or you want to see anything about what my money's actually in, what my 401k is in, my Roth's in, and stuff like that, I'm always happy to talk about that. But other than that, thank you so much for taking the time, and I will see you in the next one.